Hello, everybody. Good day, and thank you for joining me. I'm just waiting a little bit for people to join in, so please enjoy the rhythm with me. Hi, can you go ahead and type hello so I know you can hear me, please? Hope you're having a good day. Our topic today is how to keep your man in a long distance relationship. Pretty much also helps with how to keep your man. So stay on and let's have this conversation. All right, I think we're gonna go dive in. And if you have any questions as we go on, kindly go ahead and ask in the message box or text box, and I'm going to respond to that for you. All right, so what would you do? How do you keep your relationship in a long distance relationship? How do you keep your man? Usually, maintaining a long distance relationship can be very challenging. It's not easy at all, as most people know. And usually, people will tell you long distance relationships do not work. However, it depends on what you put into it and how you're handling it. And there's a lot of things that goes into how it's going to work. You have to do some work and put some work into it. Whether your man is spending a semester abroad, or they traveled away from you, or you live a couple of miles away from each other in the same country, same city, you can still maintain a good relationship. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Now, the first and most important thing that I always suggest to people is they have to communicate. These days, there are so many ways to communicate, especially with technology. People are always buying new phones. Developers and creators are always creating new systems of communication with regards to phone, videos, and all sorts. And so, if you can't do anything at all, at least your phone has a video. And I always also encourage people to do video calls. Video calls are very essential, especially if you meet them online. Online relationship can be very challenging. There's been many times where people have been kidnapped, and you don't want to be a victim of such things, or even murdered. And so what happens is, if you meet somebody online, you're having a conversation, they want a relationship with you, you can't just say I don't know you and let it go. Maybe that is where your soulmate is going to be chosen from. And so what you can do is to always ask for a video conversation. And now if you are in a long-term relationship with this person and they happen to travel, video calls, communication through various forms of video. YouTube has it, WhatsApp has it, Facebook has it, I think Twitter, all these various types of social media has it, especially WhatsApp. WhatsApp has made it very easy for people to talk and chat, So just get yourself some Wi-Fi connection and then start this conversation. It's very essential. Otherwise, you're going to be in the relationship, but it's not going to do well. Why? Because you're waiting for Mr. Right to do the communication, and sometimes your schedules might be different, and so find times that are appropriate for you, that both of you can meet, and at least try and talk once a day. The challenge with trying to talk once a day is that it becomes boring at some point if you don't have new things to talk about, right? And so do your best to talk at least once a day, checking in on their day, maybe in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening, whatever schedule that works for you, especially if you're in different time zones. Like right now, it's 7:30 where I am, and I think it's about lunchtime 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or even 5 p.m. in other places. And actually, some people are just about to sleep. It's like 8 p.m., And so find times where your schedules are going to work and keep that time, and always make sure that when you schedule appointments to call, you make sure you're there, show up. Don't disappoint. It's very essential. This also goes for the men, and I'm going to make a video for the men as well. It's also essential to trust each other if you're in a long distance relationship. If there's no trust, believe me, people are going to make your relationship end ASAP. Maybe they might see your man, with a lady and call you and give you an information. Maybe they might be jealous, seeing you in pictures with somebody, and then finalize or just say, hey, looks like you're out with somebody, and so I'm leaving, And so try and develop trust amongst yourself. Whatever you're doing, you can actually take pictures, make short videos, and send to each other, so that along the line during your day, your partner knows that, okay, this is where you'll be, this is where I should expect you to be. And so if they hear stories from different people, they won't even take it personal. You also must try to recognize when the relationship has a problem, if it's a long distance relationship. Why you must recognize, excuse me, why you must recognize when it has a problem is that if if your partner is saying, you know what, it looks like communication these days isn't doing very well, be able to talk to it, address it. What do you think isn't going right? Try to express the frustration, your feelings clearly, without bringing in past history or things that have happened in the past. Explain exactly what is bothering you without blaming your man. And so if they did something in the past where they weren't communicating appropriately, where their body language, maybe if you have video calls, the responses are very slow, not encouraging, not motivating, you want to speak to that, address that. Recently, there was a lady who had called me and said, Christy, you know what? I have this guy. We met online, we're chatting. In the beginning, he was so happy and ready to be chatting with me. Excuse me, please. There's some wind and allergy thing going around, and so yeah. What happens is, when I called him back in the day, he was very excited. All of a sudden, he's kind of slow. He's telling me he's tired, he has to sleep. I shouldn't call at this time. He's resting. That is kind of a red flag. Maybe the guy must have met somebody and is trying to see if that would be a better match, or he's just trying to see how much you care, if you're going to put pressure on wanting to find out what is happening, or he's probably losing interest. It can be one of anything. So don't give up immediately and conclude and say your partner is not interested in you anymore. Maybe it has nothing to do with that, right? Maybe it's just in a mood, which we all do have moods where and days where we don't really want to communicate. If it's been going on for a long time, then you want to ask questions and reassess the relationship and where it's going. So don't just give up, but try and recognize the problems and speak to the problems. Also, be supportive of each other. Be supportive of your man. If your man, if you're in a long distance relationship, it's a good idea to check in with him and see how things are going in his daily life. Don't just call complaining about your day. Don't just call talking about things that happen to you. Try and ask, what about you? What is happening? How may I help you? How may I support you? And just giving a listening ear goes a long way. So it's fine to ask for his support too, including him in your life and planning with him, but encourage him. And I know he's going to do the same for you if he realizes that you are going to be a supportive wife, even in future, if you ever happen to plan for the future. You can also continue to work through problems together. All of these are very essential. Now, learn to have fun without him. What I mean by learning to have fun without him, there might be places that he might not be interested in going when he's around you, right? So now that he's gone, try and do those things. If it's about going shopping, I know most men, at least for my husband, when I have to go out shopping, he would rather want to wait in the car and maybe go on his phone, or if he has some phone calls, that's the time he does it, because when I go in, I'm assessing. If it's a grocery store, I'm reading labels and doing all that. He would say, hey, just pick it and go. The other day I was in a shop and a man comes by. I was reading the instruction on a water bottle, and so he said to me, water is water, just pick it and go. What exactly are you trying to read on a water label? But that is me. And so if you are going out or in a relationship with somebody in a long distance, and you go to the shop and you're reading labels and they just have to stand there and stare at you, once they are gone, this is the time for you to be doing all those things and make time for yourself. And if you have an interest, pursue it. This is a time for you. If there's something you can do without your partner, without your spouse, like going to your favorite restaurant, visiting your favorite girlfriends, lady friends, because you're the lady too, this is the time to do all those things. If you want to go hang in your parents' home, this is the time to do that. That said, it doesn't mean don't take your spouse or your partner to your parents' home, but sometimes they just need that break of you not putting them through that. There's time for everything, and it takes planning. Planning is very essential. Now, also try and do things together. Now, this I always say might be very interesting because it's a long distance relationship, and you might think, how do I do things together? You can schedule a video call and then eat at that time. So you're having dinner date online. Yes, virtual. Do that if you want to do that. Thank you so much for staying with me. If you have been watching to this point and you haven't subscribed, I'm encouraging you, go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Also, if you're still single looking for a lifetime relationship, hey coach, thanks for joining. If you're still looking for a long-term relationship, then what you can do is to visit findac.com, and Findac is just the name of the channel, and you might be able to choose a life partner. Yes, I'm happy. Nice, and thank you for joining. Thank you for the support. Now, by doing things together, you can also continue to feel connected as a couple, even though you may be very far apart. And so scheduling date nights online, if it's virtual, is also very essential. Now, send him some treats. By sending treats, what I mean is don't overwhelm him with treats, but you can just send a note, a card. Thank you so much, coach. I really appreciate that. Yeah. And getting something tangible through the mail is also very appreciative and very encouraging, like a card or some. If he's in a different continent, you can send something that he might like that you don't they don't have or available. So for instance, originally I come from Ghana. If you mail me dry fish, you've done a great deal, and I'm always going to be thankful to you. If he is in a different continent, you can just buy and mail him something that is not common over there, like a local meal that can be preserved for as long as it gets to him. And he's going to be appreciative. Now, know when you will be together again. You need to talk about this. Sometimes in some relationships, the lady is on there, but they don't know when the guy is going to show up, and so it's like, when you ask them, so when is he coming, how is this relationship going? I don't even know, I'm not sure. You should have this conversation. You must have a timeline, especially if you're growing. You should be able to speak to the fact that maybe in the next 3 months, next 6 months, or maybe even in a year, we're going to be hopefully meeting, and we're going to plan a wedding or plan getting married and settling down. If everything is in the space and you're not sure, then your relationship is going to be suffering. So you would just say, I have somebody out there, but you barely have any plans, and that is when one of you is likely to fall into the trap of either cheating or going on with someone else without speaking to the other partner and letting them know. You might be waiting for so long. Now, celebrate the special days together. If you ever happen to meet in the next 3 months, next 6 months, sometimes you can postpone celebrating birthdays and parties and do them when you meet. Let's say your birthday was last month, but your spouse or partner is going to be there in 2 months' time. You can probably do something small, and then when they come in, you do the big ones. Keep a calendar with your special dates marked and do those celebrations, and consider sharing an online calendar with each other as well. Not forgetting tagging yourselves in pictures and special things that you do on a daily basis. If you miss him, let him know. If you want to be together shortly, soon, continue and let your spouse know. It's very essential. I've come to the end of the video. Thank you all so much for joining, Coach especially. I really appreciate you. Kindly share. Like I said earlier, I'll be doing more live videos these days because it works better for me instead of spending hours recording a video and sharing it on here. And also, if you know anyone who is single, kindly share finderseed.com with them. It's a dating site that my husband and I created, and it's for singles looking to choose their life partners. Yes, thank you. I'm going to do that. And so I'll be posting the dates and the times on here. That way I can have my followers join in. Even still, I do appreciate all of you for joining. And I will be seeing you again in my next one. Same time, same place, and same space. Take care and be well. Bye for now.